working nowadays. Good.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm Frank Jackson, back in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And I'll tell you, it's kind of a real bad scene here. Behind me, if you take a quick look, you can see there's a car dealership that's burned out. Now, this is right near the scene where Kyle Rittenhouse shot and killed 2 men and wounded another. But this is what it's starting to look like all over Kenosha. Things are burned out, businesses are burned out, and this dealership once had, if Josh want to walk with me this way, once was filled with very nice, beautiful cars. And there was so much heat here that just take a look down in here. You can see that there's a lot of metal melted, batteries burned up, destroyed. All of these seats, these cars have been cremated, if you will. And this is what Kenosha is starting to look like. This is a bad scene. And who knows what this has done to this businessman. I don't know if this puts him out of business. There's some signs going up over here. Let's go ahead and take a look at these signs, Joshua. Some signs going up over here. There are individuals posting signs to state. Follow me over. If you are just joining me, I'm Frank Jackson in Kenosha, Wisconsin, standing in the middle of a dealership that's totally burned out. As I indicated a moment ago, this dealership is a crematorium. These cars have been cremated. Just look down inside of some of them. Come on, Josh. These cars have been cremated. I mean, look at what used to be an engine. It's all melted. The seats are gone. Steering wheel, everything is gone. Like I said, I have no idea what this does to the actual business person. I don't know how many people, Jeff, do you have any people on here? Okay. We'll give you a few more minutes to get some on here, and we'll cover some of this again. Or maybe we'll come back to it in a moment. Appreciate you coming on. We're in Kenosha, Wisconsin, live with Frank Jackson, U.S. and World News and Review. We're broadcasting live from a burned out dealership in Kenosha, Wisconsin. We'll give you a few minutes to get on. Anybody else coming on, Josh? Yeah. What we may do is we'll show you, those of you who are on, we'll show you what we've got going on here. Then we'll leave and we'll come back to this spot and redo it. But in a moment, I'm going to be wanting to take you to the actual spot where Kyle Rittenhouse shot and killed 2 men and wounded another with an AR-15, a 17-year-old kid carrying an AR-15. One of the things that I said and have continued to say throughout this trip, this visit to Kenosha, I've continued to say there are way too many weapons. And we're talking about automatic weapons, semi-automatic weapons. This is the horrible thing, and the protest and weapons are a bad mix. When you combine it with, I don't know, and I don't want to speculate, but when you combine weapons with alcohol and drugs and with immaturity, as in the case of the 17-year-old kid who shot and killed 2 men, it's just a horrible thing. So we're trying to wait until we get a few more people on. Josh, any more on? Okay. What we may do is leave here for right now. We'll show you this. Let's take a look at these signs. These signs just went up. Now, these signs, the sign said, "What did our community did to deserve this?" I think they meant, "What did our community do to deserve this?" And these Latino brothers who put it up, maybe they just, that's a typo on their part. I'm sure it's a typo on their part. It probably should say, "What did our community do to deserve this?" And in the middle there's a sign that says GoFundMe, car source in Kenosha. Now that's interesting. This dealership, they're probably in a real bad position right now financially. So they're asking for, they're actually setting up have set up a GoFundMe site for themselves, GoFundMe account for themselves. That's with them hoping that people will help them recover all the losses here in this automobile crematorium. So that's very interesting. When I first saw the GoFundMe, I initially thought it was GoFundMe for Jacob Blake, the man who was shot by a police officer. Thank God he survived. But it's actually for this dealership, for this car lot, which is Car Source in Kenosha. And there's another sign here that I find very interesting. If you follow me over. This sign says, "Where's our justice?" Now I actually believe, when I read all of the other signs, I actually believe this sign doesn't read, "Where's our justice?" I believe it reads, "Where's our justice?" I think they're talking about themselves, their justice, because again, they're asking, what did they do to deserve this? They're asking, they set up a GoFundMe account for this dealership, hoping that people will help put them back in business. And then there's, where is our justice? And I think that they feel that they didn't receive justice. This is not just for them. And I kind of agree with them. This isn't right for anyone to have to go through this. There's a lot of cars here, an awful lot of cars here. I mean, it looks like this is a very prosperous dealership. There are very few cars that are untouched. In fact, they're all, I don't think there's any cars here that have not been burned. As I said earlier, if you're just joining me, this is a car crematorium. These cars have been burnt beyond recognition. Yeah, some of these I cannot tell what car it is, and maybe you can. I can't tell what it is. And for those who joined us late, let's get a shot at some of the up under the hood inside the cars. I mean, there's no parts of these cars that survived. These cars have been totally cremated. There's no parts of these cars that have survived. And so I can understand why they would be asking, where is their justice? I can understand why they would want help putting all of this back together again. Now, in just a moment, we're going to be setting up our news camera, and we'll get some footage that we'll be showing you. We'll be bringing that footage home to you. But for right now, we're just trying to give you just an idea of what an automobile looks like when it's burned beyond recognition. This is unbelievable when you see this. And it doesn't stop here. We're going to be taking you down in just a few moments to show you the actual site where Kyle Rittenhouse actually took the lives of 2 men and wounded another. So we'll be showing you that site and giving you the report on that and the story on that in just a moment. So for right now, don't go too far away. We'll be we'll stop right now, and we'll come back to you in about I'm going to say in about 10 minutes or so. So stay with us, and I think you will learn something. From Kenosha, Wisconsin, I'm Frank Jackson.